What's up, Posse members? I'm Dwight.
I'm Rad.
And we're here with High Noon to talk about some awesome stretch goals, Posse expansions. Really, we wanted to break down the Posse expansions.
And really to answer the question, why should I care about the expansions?
We've got a couple of these expansions in the Kickstarter pledge tiers because we got a lot that are going to be unlocked with the stretch goals, and that's really the journey, and that's what we're trying to drive eyeballs to is, hey, as we unlock these posses in the stretch goals, you're going to get this great value. But to start off, I wanted to talk about the expansions that are included right out the gate in the pledge tier. So the first one we have is Monko and Maquette, the two gunslingers.
These two guys are kind of the dark side versions of the sheriff and the deputy. So they were who these guys would be if they had not turned to enforcing the law. They're two posses that are played in very similar ways. However, they have their own special cards that set them apart from the sheriff.
Yeah, and you're going to see a lot of these kind of posses that are, they don't necessarily change game mechanics, like the fundamental game mechanics. That doesn't change. Some posses do, and that's really what we're going to get into is like a lot of these posses, they'll change the way the breakdown is. But some posses are just a different flavor, a different color of the game. So with the gunslingers, like you were saying, they play similar to the lawmen in that there's two of them. They back each other up. One really needs to cover the other. If they get isolated, they're pretty much done. But like they're bounty hunters,
right? And that comes out in their card set,
right?
So you'll see that they are a little bit more. Would you say they're a little more independent than the sheriff and the
yeah, they're not exactly bringing justice. They're there to get money.
Yeah, you can tell that they can both operate by themselves.
Yeah.
They just happen to be together because it's in their best interest.
Because it's in their best interest. Right, they're a team.
Right.
And in a game where you know the posse with the most gold wins, it's a good angle to get with the gunslingers because they've got some cards where if they kill a character, they can get extra gold.
Right.
That other posses might not get. So if you're all about like hunting people down and getting gold for it, they're the posse.
Not to mention they have gobs of health. They're extremely hard to kill or damage. They're veteran gunslingers. When we were designing the deck for them, we wanted it to come out that these aren't just two guys off the trail. These are two hardened gunslingers that are used to fighting it out in the street.
As a matter of fact, as you play them, you might be like, hey, these guys look familiar. All right, so next, in that same pledge tier, you're going to get the Jenkins Brothers.
Right.
Now, the Jenkins Brothers are a group of hillbilly moonshiners. The thing that I wanted to bring in with them was two things. One, they're the first posse that really comes headstrong with shotgun rounds.
Right.
Because outside of that, the only way that you get to play with a shotgun is if you draw that card from the loot deck.
And that, just so you guys know, that is a huge deal in actual gameplay. Getting away from somebody whose shotgun does severe damage up close is an actual, game changer inside the gameplay. You really don't want to get up close to them when you're maneuvering, because if they turn on you or if your truce breaks down, they can deliver some pain.
And a lot of times, you'll find in the core game a lot of, the base stuff, like people, and even not in the core game, if there's nobody with a shotgun running around, a lot of people like to hide. They're like, oh, it's almost the end of the game, time to go hide in the bank or hide behind this door. Ain't gonna happen with the Jenkins Brothers. They'll just blow a hole right through the door,
right,
and get you. The other thing that the Jenkins Brothers introduces, my personal favorite, Clifton. And Clifton Jenkins is basically he's a brawler. Kiya is, in the core game, he's a melee character, he's there with axes, but Clifton really brings in, he's a combo guy. Like, you feel like you're in a wrestling game with Clifton. He bum rushes you, he pummels you with a bunch of hits, he can pick you up and throw you, he can run and jump and slam on you. I mean, he's basically a wrestling guy. But it's fun, it's really colorful, it's not tongue-in-cheek. It's just like, if you could imagine just some big dude just running into the street full of chaos and just beating the living tar out of everybody.
Right.
He's there, and that's the posse for you. The Abernathy game, this is a long sought after one. This is one people keep talking about.
Oh, I can go on I can go on and on about Bunyip and Mistmaker and how it's completely stopped my strategy in its tracks. Abernathy, obviously, if you guys know who Ned Kelly is, he was the spiritual inspiration for who the Abernathy gang is. The thing about him is that he really introduces, he's the beginning of some of the major shifts in gameplay. He's the first taste you're going to get about how a card set or a character's special attacks can really shift gameplay for the entire board. Not just for the two people, who are engaged in combat, but also the rest of the players on the board.
I mean, when he drops that Mistmaker, he basically drops a smoke bomb.
Right.
So if that can screw up everybody's plans. If everybody's positioned themselves to go to battle, and he's like, "Hey, surprise! Nobody can see this large swath of the battlefield." Right. It's like, what do I do?
Yeah.
And then there's lighting buildings on fire.
Yes. This is a big one. You guys will all figure this out as you start to play the game once you get your copies. But the truth is that it really is. There are people who hide for the first couple of rounds. Everyone else is going to get, loot, and some people are like, I'll sit this one out. They don't do it when the Abernathy gang is playing because he will straight up light your saloon on fire.
Yep.
He will light your bank on fire. He will light your sheriff, your jail on fire. He doesn't care. He will burn everything you love, and you'll get caught in it.
And speaking of the sheriff, he really is the nightmare for anybody of a law faction.
Yes.
People like to lead in with the law because they're so powerful. They're such a powerful starting posse, and it's designed that way. The sheriff and the deputy are really designed for the beginner, the ultimate beginner, jumping into the game, no idea how to play.
You don't have to worry about coordinating fires. You don't have to worry about so many different types of cards in your card hand. It simplifies some of the factors that, for experienced players, really become a way to express yourself in the gameplay. These two guys are what I would consider, they have fewer factors to manage. But
bring in the Abernathy gang.
Abernathy has a chip on his shoulder again for the law, and so he is absolutely poison to any of the lawful characters because that's who it's who his character is. And we designed it into the card deck that it comes out to neutralize some of the strengths of the lawman.
Yeah, he's a quintessential anti-law. In the same pledge here, this is not a posse. This is an expansion, and this is where things are going to get a little different because so far we've been talking about posses, but it's not just posses that expand the gameplay and the game mechanics of High Noon. So the first expansion that is not posse based, and it's going to be again introduced in the pledge tier, Metal and Money, is the economy deck or the marketplace deck. And what this is it's essentially a couple of things. It's a way for players to choose the items that they want to equip their characters with without relying on the luck of the draw of the loot crates. As you play this game, there's a lot of luck involved. There's a lot of randomization into the game that ensures no game is ever the same. And one of those big pieces is the loot crates.
Right.
You go up to a loot crate, you loot it, you draw 3 cards, you get 1, you throw the other 2 out. But you don't know what those cards are going to be.
And keep in mind, when you're playing the game itself, expending the time to go after loot is, it has what you would call opportunity cost.
Right.
And so when you go to the loot crate and you go, oh look, I got some beans.
Yeah.
I really wanted a rifle. I wanted a long-range sight. The economy decks give you the ability to have some control over what type of upgrades, especially if you're trying to plan your strategy out. It becomes really another layer of complexity that gives not just you as a player, but your opponents the ability to control some of their gameplay factors.
Right. It also increases the availability. So a lot of people talk about. I mean, it's not a problem. It's just what comes with the game is that eventually all the crates are gone. Mm-hmm. They're all looted, and what you got is what you got. And there's going to be times where you can be like, man, I wish there was a shotgun lying around, or I wish there was a steel chest plate just to keep me alive a little bit longer. That's what the economy deck is all about, is that inventory is there. You can use the gold that you've got throughout the game, and you can buy those items. Now, here's the thing, though. There's a little bit of an added gameplay, it's almost like a new game mode. Because in order for these marketplaces to be included, the tile associated with that marketplace must be in.
Right.
And that's why it was important to introduce the economy after we've introduced the posses of Monko and Maquette, the Jenkins Brothers, and the Abernathy game, because those three posses, their starting tile are the shops that make up the marketplace. And so not only are they in play, and this is why it's important that they must be in play, is because you can actually seize control of the marketplace to ensure nobody else can buy an item from that location. So we were doing a test play of this, and once the guys realized, oh, that's what I can do, they started like moving their guys into the locations to lock them down so nobody else can get the pieces. And it's kind of a tit for tat because you can lock down stuff, but that also means that guy that you're using to lock down the location isn't out getting gold for you to win the game.
The thing is that if you think about it, one of the wrinkles in High Noon is that you have to discard 3 cards before you can draw back up to 12. And when you're playing the game, it becomes really apparent that managing the balance of your deck is one of the critical strategies for High Noon. And what the loot allows you to do is to free up some of the space in your hand. For example, you may need to you have a strategy that you're building as the game is progressing, and you're like, I'm going to rush into the street and I'm going to blow that dude away. But I need to make sure that I have enough health to withstand it because I may get caught in the crossfire.
And you got to free up some of your other buddies' cards to do that.
Right. And the truth is that if you have, so let's say you pick up a Masterful Revolver, let's say you pick up a Repeater, you can instantly discard down your attack cards for defense cards because you've overcome your need to attack with cards in your hand with the loot.
Right, yeah.
And it goes the other way as well. You may buy a chest plate. Mm-hmm. Now you can discard some of your defense cards for some of your, the potential of getting some better attack cards and really go into the battle guns blazing because some of your hit points are going to be absorbed by the armor.
And this is going to make a whole lot more sense the more you play the game. Even just playing the traditional game, you'll be like, oh, that's what they're talking about. But here's even and playing on top of that is the marketplace. These items can actually be purchased as a free action.
Right.
Whereas it would take you an action to loot the crate.
Right.
So this really increases the speed and the pace of the game. No longer it's exponential. The speed of the game, it rapidly increases. The more gold you're getting, and then you're buying items as free actions, and then you're using those items to, you could use them right away. There was a guy who, he was going to attack somebody. He bought it, right before he attacked, he was like, oh, nobody's in the general store? I'm buying some cigarettes. And, immediately added 3 damage to his attack. And that's a game changer. You just can't do that by the loot crate. So the economy deck it's a massive change from the game. It adds the pace, it adds the ability to equip, and it creates another kind of zone controlled king of the hill game mode for all your games moving forward.
It also really comes into its own in the Last Posse Standing gameplay. Because when you're playing Last Posse Standing, you're playing until everyone's dead or until you're the last posse standing. And so having these power-ups and being able to continuously trade some of your gold for the opportunity to earn gold in different ways really pushes that game along in a huge way.
So there you go. The economy deck, it's just a huge piece, and it's included in the Metal and Money pledge, which day one, it's $100.
Yeah.
So come on, guys. And after that, it's $130. So either way.